Okay, so first couple of lines are pretty much the same. We are just like installing Stanza because that's what we're gonna use to install the core API NLP. So it's just simple import. Once that's done, now students using Stanza, we can install the core NLP. We're gonna save it on a certain location. And take a minute. The change in the code from ICP2 to ICP3 is here when we are defining our annotators. Remember last time annotators we were specifically giving values. For example, we were giving you know uh, part of speech. We are using tokenization and all this, but here we are just giving a name, OpenAI, which is basically just a library name within that core NLP. So that's our annotator. And now we endpoint is again our localhost 9001. Keep in mind in our regular machine we use the port 9000, but in Colab we have to use 9001 because they have some other functions running on that port. And OpenAI, it works very good with JSON objects. So JavaScript object notation is the format that we're going to be using here in sending responses and getting in sending requests and getting the responses. And that is a little slow, so it takes a little while, but usually it shouldn't take that long. So once that's done, we're gonna just quickly run this code where we are just using three different sentences. So we have sentence one, sentence two. Basically, these are considered as your text doc. You can also have a file here, a file name that's storing a lot of sentences. And then I'm giving this to the client.annotate, right? And keep in mind, annotator is now OpenAI. And I'm giving the text, this document, and output format should be JSON. That's why I'm importing JSON here. And I'm asking the API to send me the response in JSON. And then I'm creating an empty list that is triplets. And now within that document, we know that this document could have one or more than one sentences. Go into that. And now for triplet in sentences OpenAI, I'm just appending. Okay. I'm appending. So, this this OpenAI is sending me words with their tags. For example, subject, relation, object, right? So I'm going inside that. I'm saying that triplet dot subject goes with the tag subject. Then triplets relation goes to the relation and object, and then I'm just printing that. So the response comes in an order of triplet, and I know within that triplet, the first one is subject, the other one is relation, and the object. So these are the key element kind of dictionary key element things. So I'm just appending that to a list, sorry, to a dictionary, and then that dictionary goes inside the list, and we are printing it here. Then I have also cleared it a little, and I'm saying just go to the document sentence zero, whatever the first sentence is, OpenAI, and now for that, just print these values. So predicate, subject, and object, right? Relation, subject, and object. These are the information that we can print. Okay, so is it done? Yes, it's done. Let's quickly define our client. The client, nothing special, just the changes part is here. Now we are saying annotator is equal to be an OpenAI instead of those other ones that we used last time. That's done. And now let's run this. Let's send our request. So we are sending text and we are expecting an output in a JSON format. And then we are just, uh, you know, uh, we are just modifying that JSON response to provide proper tags to the words. So now, this is the response. We know Albert Einstein was the subject. relation was an object was theoretical physics. So Albert Einstein entity and theoretical physics entity, the relation was, so he was a theoretical physics and so forth. Sometimes you also see these funny results, but that's how machine works, right? So Einstein was born, right? So we know that he was born and so forth. And we also know that now this is Einstein, relation was developed, theory of relativity. So these are your triplet extraction. Again, the same thing, just in a different way. So we can say, okay, the triplet of given sentences. Now this is the format that we saw in class. So we have predicate or relation first, and then we have the two entities, the subject and the object, and so forth. And now this is we are just doing on sentence 0. You can also do it on the second sentence. All you have to do is instead of first, so in Python the index starts from 0. So 0 represents the I'm sorry, there are three people in the waiting room. So the 3 represents, the 0 represents the first sentence, and the 1 represents the second sentence. So now we can run this, and now this will be the second sentence here. You want to change it to another sentence, you can just, instead of text, pass S or S1, you can play with it. It will go back to these sentences. Or you can put all of them in one text, in one string, and you can pass that string to it. Now, the other thing was to do the NLTK WordNet. I didn't remember specifically which package was WordNet, so I downloaded all. It may take a little time on your computer. Let's run this. So from there, we are just importing, from this corpus, we are just importing WordNet, which we're going to be using here. So now we are giving a word. We are giving this to a word. Let's say the word is good. And then we are finding, we are printing the word, we are printing its lemma, we are printing its definition, we are printing some examples, so this is all the information that WordNet gives you. Then we are printing its synonyms and the opposite words here. This also the WordNet also gives you that information about a word. And lastly, there's also another feature in the WordNet that if you provided two words, it can also give you a similarity or dissimilarity score between them. So now we are also printing the similarity score between the word 1 and the word 2. So, okay, it's done. So let's run this part of the code. You see, we know that the word is stored in the database is like this. The base form of this is this. The meaning of this. So the second thing was base form, right? The lemma. And then we are going the definition of it. So what is the definition? The definition of the word is benefit. Now we're going to look into the examples. So some example of the words are, for your own good. What is the good of worrying? These are some examples that it's returning back. Now we need to look in the synonyms and the opposite words. So the synonyms are, enforce, just, trade good, goodness, well, undecomposed, effective, dependable, secure, honorable, and so forth. There are a lot of synonyms that can go with the word good. The opposite are evil, evilness, ill, badness, bad. And then lately we need to find the similarity score between ship and boat, right? And we as a human, we know that they are very similar. So let's see what the WordNet returns us. So yes, as expected, the similarity score is 90%. So one is like they are exactly the same word, and anything higher, shows that they are similar. If this number was very less, then we know that they were very dissimilar words. But keep in mind, I'm sending them in a proper, in a proper notations, right? So this is how the WordNet recognizes them. Any questions so far? Okay, if not, so let's go to see what's required in the ICP's part.
Sir, like what is it refer to n.01? Like
So this is how it is stored, the word. So example for, I said print the word of it, you see what it's returning.
Okay.
So that's how
Did you
database
say
store them. I
location?
think it shouldn't be. Let's do this. That's how database can find them in their database. But let's see. You see now it's throwing me an error because database cannot find that. So 1.0 means this is just a go and look into this word. So where does that go? Okay, here we go. Modules. So now there are two parts of the ICPs. The first part is to find the triplet extraction in a sentence, but instead of using the core API, you have to use the Python libraries and your own custom code. Okay. And secondly, you can use the same library that I use, WordNest, but instead of finding similarity or finding the synonyms and all this, you have to look for these properties of the word. So all you have to basically look into is how to call this library to find these things. Just the syntax. It's pretty straightforward. The second part, the first part, you may have to be a little creative with it. Okay. But they're like it's not that it's very. So these up till now we are doing very low load on ICP levels. Hopefully it's just to get you familiar with the libraries and how to use them, and starting in few maybe next lecture or a few weeks we're going to be working on models. So in that time just make sure you understand how to use these libraries, how to call them, how to troubleshoot issues, right? For example, the other day we were having that issue with the uh, with the Spacey and this Google Colab. So usually once it throws error, there's a tab for Stack Overflow. You click on it, and it just took me 2 minutes to read what is wrong with it, and then I was able to fix it. So you just look at the people comments, what they went through, and what is there were some dependency issues. Someone suggested to downgrade it, but it didn't work because it was causing more issues. All you have to do was import the EN package and install that in a Colab, and it was working fine. Okay, any questions?
Hello, Professor.
Yes,
So, like for triplet extraction, can we use the n-gram model, like the n-gram method?
it's totally up to you. Yeah, why not?
But in n-gram method, we are basically word or like groups of 3 words.
Mm-hmm.
So, you want the sentence to be split into 3 parts,
No,
or
no. So
like.
what exactly the triplet represents, right? You have to ask yourself that
Mhm.
is it triplet is just a set of any 3 words?
No, like
So
sequential.
there is some properties, right, for this information extraction. So in triplet, one of the
Yes.
word has to be the relation or the predicate. One of the word has to be
Okay.
so other twos are entities, and among those entities, one of them is subject, and another one is object. And then the
Okay.
predicate is telling you how they are related to each other.
Okay.
Okay. And also, I want to announce that we have our TA. I think he has started grading the ICPs. I will share his email with you guys, and I think he also sent me one doc. Just a guide on submitting these ICPs and how to improve your wiki reports and stuff. So I'm gonna share that doc with you as well.